horrible. It's horrendous. And recently, a couple of weeks ago, Trump came and said Nigerian government should pick up their slack. They should just do something about it, or else he's going to invade Nigeria, guns are blazing.
A supremacist agenda that was perfected by Osama bin Laden when he globalized the global resurgence of religious terrorism. This is not merely a Fulani problem. It's bigger than that. There are at least about 5-6 groups that we are reckoning with. It has a head in education. It has infiltrated our security defense systems. Over the years, it has infiltrated governance. It has infiltrated media.
Before the kids were kidnapped from the Catholic school in Niger State, allegedly, there was intelligence report from the DSS to the state governor that these guys are going to strike.
And what the idea is to take Nigeria, take West Africa, take the rest of Africa, and then use that resources to dominate the world.
Okay, so it's Al-Qaeda that is trying to take over Nigeria through these different terrorist organizations.
An intelligence created by Al-Qaeda between 1991 and 1996, Osama bin Laden was in Sudan, perfecting the model of how to globalize terrorism.
And then there were military men stationed at the school. Then 30 minutes, allegedly, 30 minutes to when the bandits came. These military men pulled out.
A lot of a serving high-placed government official from Borno State, who happens to now be who? The Vice President of Nigeria. So what am I talking about here? Tinubu is one heartbeat away.
Welcome to Sizzling Gist with LC.
That's why for the first 15, 16 years, it was targeted only at Christians first. I told publicly that in the later years, towards the end, when they're about to strike Nigeria completely, they will start killing Muslims as well. So I said that about 10 years ago. You are dealing with something that is global, but has a local face. Its objective is to take the whole of Nigeria, not some of Nigeria. Now, it's going to...
They pulled out and nobody wants to disclose who gave the command for them to pull out. Okay? No one wants to disclose who gave that command. No one wants to follow that lead. I mean, in a crime scene, you're supposed to follow a lead, right? To take you to, to solve the crime. Who was the one who ordered the military men to pull out?
Use Islam and the Sharia to take Nigeria. All over the world, its tactics are different.
Who is trying to take Nigeria?
Now, let me put it for you like this. The architecture for the intelligence behind this thing is more than the local intelligence. But they have contacted local actors. You see, there's what they call the ISWAP. The Fulani is there. Then you have the Kanuri-dominated Boko Haram. Then you have Lakurawa, Ansaru, and all those other offshoots of the global template provided by Al-Qaeda. Many-headed, only one hat.
Who was the one? I mean, that's too many things. Nigeria as a whole is a crime scene. And we've not even started solving any one of the crimes. And when you ask yourself, what are the reasons why we are not even trying to...
Nigeria is dealing with, it is both an ancient and a modern problem. And this is bigger, including religion, but bigger than religion. This is not an Usman Danfodio narrative. It's a more modern, more deadly, more intelligent Hydra.
Do anything. They keep talking about sponsors of Boko Haram. Why are we not trying to do anything to get to the root of the matter, to get to the nitty-gritty of the matter? You find out that this man's explanation goes a long way, to clear some of the confusion.
Rule the world with Sharia. And he knew they would have to kill Muslims as well. So what we're dealing with is bigger than just a religious problem. It's a supremacist agenda covering its face with Islamic religion.
So for people that may be watching right now, some of them will say we've been hearing about things like this for a long time. Where is the actual evidence? Like what you said Bin Laden drafted in Sudan, is there a record of it somewhere? Like some people would say, where is the evidence to the things that you're saying?
Okay, one of the greatest weaknesses of the African nations of the world, including Nigeria, is the inability to mathematize inquiry. That is to collect statistics and data, crunch it, and then do what they call concatenation. That is to join all the dots and use that to come to a conclusion and predict things that when they happen, you will not be surprised. If you follow the media in Nigeria over the past 20-something years, there's nothing I have said beforehand that did not come to pass, including there's no place in the world that has responded to an already documented resurgence of global Islamism by claiming to arrest terrorists, and then you will claim that you have de-radicalized them, and then you absorb them into the Nigerian army. You see, that one alone is an amazing case of stupidity. I've never heard of this kind of madness before. An armed robber comes to your house, you arrest him, instead of prosecuting him, you claim that you have changed his mind, and you now make him join your megadis.
It's like We are going crazy. We are going mad. We don't know what to believe. We don't know who to trust. The president says he has a well-being at heart. The governors, they say they're trying their best. The senators, they come out and they speak about meetings behind closed doors trying to solve this dilemma. Who do we trust? But then when there is intelligent report, nobody acts on it. And when the deed is done, the crime is not prosecuted. Nobody pays for it.
That is, of course, one. Number two, if we collate, I can tell you from the beginning, one of the things I discovered from the year 1999 to 2000 was government complicity. And why do I say so? We have reached a stage now where we are not afraid of anything anymore. In those days, we were more afraid of the enemy within than the enemy without. So today, there can be documents that I will give you, we'll put on display. When you find out that young girls are kidnapped, married off, taken away from their husbands, I mean, sometimes young girls are kidnapped, sometimes wives are kidnapped, married off Islamically, and you will see that if someone will come, the governors were aware. I can give you a case where we had to curb a terrorist attack in Kaduna State. We could tell you the modus operandi. It started with Gumi when he came back from Mecca, when he came back from Saudi Arabia. His first tafsir in Kaduna was a call to violence, to slaughter. The VHS came to me because we have been setting up early warning systems, and this is what a real early warning system is to prevent something. When we got it, we translated it into English, and at that time it was Obasanjo who was the president of Nigeria. Thank God for the first General Overseer, who is now Wilson Badijo, who assured me that what we prepared and gave to him was given to Obasanjo in his bedroom. But what I didn't know was that we were still monitoring Kaduna to see whether the arms build-up towards the execution was going to stop. When we saw that it was not going to stop, in fact, this is a good example I'm giving you. I had to call a special strategic session with media.
Nobody goes to jail. Nobody is given a capital punishment. Let's say a public, prosecution that ends in we seeing what punishment is being given to these guys. On TikTok these days, they parade themselves. Yeah.
Let me give you another proof. I was on television when I found out there was no other way of escape. When an Al-Qaeda operative was already appointed as a federal minister in Buhari's government. And I questioned.
Do you mind naming that minister?
What's his name? Something. Issa Pantami. How do I know? I supervised an evacuation in 2004 when a young Christian was slaughtered in the mosque of ATBU. That's Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Okay? Now, when we supervised that, it was this Pantami, who was a lecturer in that university at that time, who put a fatwa on certain students because they preached the gospel to Muslims in a university. And at that time, when they killed that boy, we had to go and evacuate the others whose names I spoke to them recently. They are still afraid till now. The young guys brought them into Lagos. We made arrangements to take them into other countries where there's better respect for human worth. And then Sunday Achi was the name of the student who was murdered. Okay? At that time, for you to know how this thing works, there was a bishop who was working with the Obasanjo government who went to arrange for the burial of this boy. And when I said, let us make it an issue, they at that time were cooperating because they didn't realize how dangerous this Hydra is. Later, that Hydra attacked that bishop, almost killed him, finished his secretary. Fortunately, they couldn't catch his wife. They maimed him. And today, he's one of the forefront advocates who has realized how dangerous this thing is.
They show off their money. They show off their ill-gotten wealth from banditry. They show off the people, the victims, tied up. They execute them in public glare.
I could really give you many more examples. One of the former head of states who was claiming that there was nothing in his time, I was at a meeting with him in his home in Ota. When he gave me his own version of what he believed was going on, I said to him, sir, during your government, they were already building up more and more, infiltrating more and more. I said, do you remember a meeting you went to have in Northern Nigeria when these things happened? When you left, they slaughtered every member of the family that entertained you. I said, they were sending you a warning to back off. Now, some years later, he went for a security meeting outside Nigeria. And I think when they showed him the build-up of what is coming into Nigeria when the final phase comes. Look
at what was done to the Brigadier General Musa Uba in full glare of the whole world. What is going on? I beg to differ. America is not it's not the savior. Okay? They are going to do their best. But we need to be accountable to ourselves. We need to hold our leaders accountable.
Everybody realizes that if you think the Nigerian army can withstand the combined forces of what ISWAP has planned in the future, what is working for us right now is very simple. Nigeria is 220 million people strong. The number of all these people who want to swallow Nigeria, they are not even up to 450,000. Now, the strength of this is, let me break one nonsense that is going all around. And this is what we have to be careful to counsel the US government about. Anybody who looks and thinks that the Fulani is a primary problem is a joker. The Fulani is not the primary problem. All the combined forces of all these people is not up to 400 something million. Now, is it this ill-educated...
400 something thousand.
Yeah, we realize that it's the intelligence that is arranging logistics, that is arranging safe passage for them. I have boys in the army. We used to pray for them. When they locate the enemy position in the Nigerian army, a signal comes from Abuja that they should not attack. The signal will be delayed. After 3 hours, they tell them, now go. The Boko Haram will have left that place.
You need to hold the member of your you need to hold your House of Rep member accountable. You need to hold your governor accountable. You need to hold your community, hold each other accountable. If you see, I don't know, we need to rise beyond where we are today if we want to come to the end of this thing. There has to be shifts. There have to be a shift in our collective awakening.
So,
what more proof
are
do we
you
need?
saying that the Nigerian government is involved in what is
What are you saying?
happening?
Even Jonathan, before he left, openly said they are in my cabinet. Look, this thing has been known to collapse nations from within. So there's nothing new about what is going on in Nigeria. It's just like the architecture of. I would rather speak to the younger generation, the digital generation, who understand programming, because it looks as if the older generation don't have what it takes, don't have the understanding to acknowledge that there's a problem here. And let us come squarely. My eyes are on the president of Nigeria. It needs to be careful. Yes. Listen to me. I have nothing against him personally, but I can tell you something that is very, very clear to anybody. Now, he is an astute, consummate politician, but he doesn't realize that there's a global problem that he's dealing with. In order to become the president of Nigeria, nobody can argue there were deals that went on. And in essence, what he did was that he, more than anybody else, realized that there are many factors to the Hydra. In terms of the kinetics, apart from the Fulani, the Boko Haram, the ISWAP controlled, and Sarah, Lakurawa and Co. And what he did was to play them against each other. So that
you are alleging that President Tinubu had a deal with the terrorists?
Excuse me, whether we like it or not, it is no longer a secret anywhere in the world that.
So, but what's the evidence? Some people will say that.
Okay, let me give you talk. Let me throw you one.
We have to understand that this is not normal. Nigeria, what is happening around you and me is not normal. While I was growing up, this kind of things never happened. What is happening is not normal. Don't normalize this. Don't normalize trauma. Evil is sitting on the throne in Nigeria right this very moment.
Quickly. People don't realize that the Mandela bombing in Niger State, the Catholic church that was bombed in Niger State, the fellow who headed it actually was in Lagos, in Snake Island. 2 days, 3 days, and then traveled to northern Nigeria to take his team to execute. What does that tell you? Now, when he got into police custody, he was arrested and he miraculously escaped. When he escaped miraculously, where was he arrested? Where did he take up refuge? He took up refuge in the.
We know they have infiltrated everywhere. We know. But I believe one thing, as a Christian, no one says a word and it comes to pass when God has not commanded it. No one has the final say apart from the Creator who made all of us. So let's not give up hope. Don't let that fear creep in, because once we are all paralyzed by fear, there is nothing we can do. There is nothing else we can do but to give in and be done for. Keep your head up.
The lodge of a serving high-placed government official from Borno State, who happens to now be who? The Vice President of Nigeria. So what am I talking about here? Tinubu is one heartbeat away.
You wake up, make sure you follow the news. Okay, follow the news, know what is going on, be on social media. I'm not saying consume everything that you see on social media, but at least know what is going on, know what everyone is saying out there. Don't isolate yourself, don't live in a highly isolated place, and make sure you guys in your community come out and just form groups.
You see, I feel sorry for him. In a way, we need to protect President Tinubu's life. He may think he has the guts to face this people, but I can tell you something, he has totally misread the size of the problem in which he has gone to double his hands.
Okay, so you said a lot of things. These are serious allegations.
Please, don't even bother. I'm the one talking. We are, listen, yes. We are the circumcision. We worship God in the spirit. We rejoice in Christ Jesus and we have no confidence in the flesh. I'm a statesman. We worry about the generations to come. I'm not worried about the next election. There's nothing I'm saying that cannot be substantiated, not only within Nigeria, but globally. So let nobody deceive themselves. Look, why do you think the federal government is trying to deny an evident truth? And all these people who have collected 30 pieces of silver, all these people speaking from two sides of the mouth, who are just shifting positions like the mendacious president that we have, why do you think they are going on like that? Because there's a plan. if this intervention had not come, and the president was allowed to go through his 8 years, who would he hand over the country to? And does he think they are not wise enough to know that if they are able to eliminate him, into whose hand does the country go? Now, this is where the problem is. If the country goes into the hands of the Boko Haram, the Fulani will not be happy.
Or you pay a vigilante group that can secure the area, but even at that, they can be paid off at any time. So be alert, be prayerful, be courageous, and if you can, safeguard yourself in any way, go ahead and.
Those who are, look, let me give you a good example, an open secret. When Shekau
Are you saying that the country will go into the hand of Boko Haram after Tinubu?
Please, if you remember very well, just after he came in, there was some kidnappings, some bombings, and then there was an outrageous demand for one impossible, I can't remember, was it 20 billion or something, impossible amount of money. When that demand was made, it was not really because they felt that kind of money would be paid. It was a direct message, a coded message to the presidency. Everybody is aware now that there was complicity in the times of in terms of the former president Muhammad Buhari. Like I mentioned Issa Pantani. Also, don't forget about that his interesting governor who turned against Buhari in the last minute, who was persuaded to turn against Buhari, the worst governor Kaduna State has ever had. And I said something when Kaduna State was
Governor El-Rufai.
Yes. Look, let's not even go there. Go and look at his tweets in the earlier years. Go and look at his own open admission on television that he left Nigeria to neighboring countries with money to go and sponsor the terrorists who had come to kill in Nigerian territory. Why did they have that kind of confidence then? Was because they knew they had entered governance. Now, as I'm speaking right now,
do that because we are at a stage in our life, in our nation, where this transitioning, I believe, is going to lead to great things. But this transitioning, this is the valley of the shadow of death. And everyone out there, please go ahead and pray for Nigeria. Pray for us.
Listen, we need to reform this country. And there's an opportunity that has come right now that if we mismanage this opportunity, let me tell you something, even God in heaven will look away. When in the south part of Nigeria, in the eastern part of Nigeria, 13-year-old girls end up being raped, the fate, sadly, of those
now, by opportunity, you're talking about Trump saying that he would interfere with what is happening in Nigeria.
Well, I prefer the word intervention, and let me put it for you like this. For any godly-minded person, the declaration of Nigeria as a country, a CPC, that designation,
yeah,
yes, that designation is a human designation. What we should worry about is that God in heaven himself had already declared Nigeria as a country of particular concern.
Pray that evil will be dismantled from the very root and that we will emerge victorious, a better country.
Anymore. The older generation have been reduced by the weaponization of poverty. So look, thinking is an expensive thing. So it's not easy. Don't blame the average Nigerian.
Okay.
People are susceptible to money.
So, Daddy, before we round up, you've said a lot of things. Are these things that you can defend, like the allegations of the president, the vice president being part of, the Boko Haram?
In whose house was Kabiru Sokoto? In whose home was Kabiru Sokoto hiding before he was picked up? Please, if not for global interference in Nigerian affairs, we are already 90-something% to the day of doom. So if we let us miss this opportunity. All those talking from the different sides of the mouth, they will soon know what it is that we are doing.
So exactly what do you want the US to do?
Very simple. There are 4 sets of people who are talking to us in the US. Number 1, those who are genuinely concerned. Right? Number 2, we have those who are looking for government appointments. Number 3,
in the US, looking for government appointments in Nigeria.
Government appointments in the US. They are careerists.
Trump's administration.
Then there are those who know that money, US dollars, follows policy. So if not for Trump, they will not be speaking up. They are there. And then there's a last set of zealots who are so zealous that they reject God's wisdom. Those ones are what we call sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. They're equally as dangerous. So this is what I want us to do. If Nigeria cooperates properly with the window that God has used Trump to open, there's something that I cannot talk about in detail now. It's called the flight of 2 eagles.
Thank you for hanging out with me and do have a lovely week. Bye.